Have a bad day.
Hey, had a bad day.
I had a very bad day. We'll talk about it later. Hot topics. It's Wednesday. It's hump day.
And I am.
Yes.
I just wanted, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You be talking. I just needed to check to make sure it was working. So what we've done is, for the people who are watching, we are now streaming 3 places. We are streaming through YouTube. So you're catching us on our YouTube channel. Welcome to people who are seeing this from Fay's LinkedIn. And we're also streaming directly in our community for the first time. So yay, technology. I was having a great day yesterday because I came up with a way to stream it directly into our community. And then
awesome.
And it works.
It's fabulous, you guys. You're watching anywhere else, join the community, because if nothing more, other than it's a fabulous community and we do lots of cool stuff in it, if nothing more, you can learn how to do this for your community as well. So that's kind of cool, right? So we join a lot of things just to learn what they're doing in tech. We go to events to see how they run them, right? Do we like the software they use? Should we use it for one of our events? We do it all the time. So feel free, if that's why you join our community, to learn what we're using and do our tech. We're okay with that because the community is about getting you better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So why did you have a bad day? Why are we playing bad day?
Yeah, I had a horrible day. And I like to be transparent.
This is yesterday, not today, I hope, because it's only 9 o'clock in our world.
It's still lingering, but the song helps. So yes, I had a really bad day. And people see us. We have a lot of people who watch us on a daily basis and a lot of people that interact. And everyone always says, oh, you guys look so happy and great and stuff. And yeah, we have fun. We like doing this, guys. Just so you know, we enjoy going on lives. We enjoy doing training. It's not work for us. Right. So, but I also this year, my goal was to be more transparent in everything. So you would understand that, you know what, we all have crap to deal with too. So yesterday, it was kind of miserable out, right? Kind of miserable. It wasn't a great day anyways, feeling a little not perfect. Everything was fine. I was doing tedious work. But a couple things. And one is, for those of you who know, my husband's severely disabled, had a brainstem stroke. He needs 24-hour care. And we have a little bit of assistance from the government. And we have like 3 hours a day. They come in to help him feed him because I have to work. So we are making a transition. We're going to move to a place that's a little more affordable for him to get everything that he needs. And I've given them ample time, the government. And so we've given them 3 months, everything's great. I've talked to everyone under the sun. And then I get a call from the new hub that's supposed to give us a service. And they said, well, you're on a wait list. I'm like, he's been 10 years. Like, we did everything right. We're just moving addresses. Yeah. They're like, well, nothing we can do. And I'm like, you don't get it. I mean, and so I had to argue with 3 different people, and they don't care. And like, it's me.
Because they're just looking at you as a number. They're looking at you as just another case, and they're not looking at this. So they're not triaging. They're just, you're next on the list.
Yeah, we don't care. And I said, okay, I understand. But here's the thing. I've been with you 10 years. We've done all the right things. I've given you ample notice, months and months and months of notice. So, and you know how much care. She goes, well, there's nothing we can do. Have somebody help you. And I go, I don't have anyone. And we're in lockdown.
Have someone help you. I love that. Right? Sure. I'll get right on that, because that's so easy.
And that was it. And it was just like, well, we don't want to help you. Like, that's basically what it was. And I'm like, so you're telling me that when we move, the day we move, I will have 0 help? Yes. Now that we can't promise you anything. I said, well, hang on here. The government has said I can have help. You just need to get somebody, right? You get agencies. Well, there's nothing we can do. That was the answer. So I was I mean, after literally talking to 3 different people, which exhausts you, right? It
Oh,
totally exhausts
absolutely.
you. And I'm through, and I had all these other things to do yesterday, but that one weighed on my mind more than anything. And there's nothing. So I'm like, okay, so this morning after we do our things, this is what my day has to consist of. I have to write emails to everyone. I'm going to send it to the Prime Minister's office, to the Premier's office, to the Health Minister. I have to spend my time telling everyone what's wrong with their system. I wish they would hire me, seriously,
Right?
to fix their damn system.
It's
Because
so
obviously there is a problem with leadership in Ontario Health. There's
That's
a problem with
crazy.
leadership, right?
But
And
how can you not, like, I don't understand when you say we just can't help you. Well,
yeah,
there has to be another solution. Like,
right.
where's the, we have a problem and here's the problem, and now let's work together to fix it.
Right.
What happened to that?
Well, and I said to the girl who was very, I was shocked at how she didn't care. And I said, there was only one person ever that I worked with in the agency that was really great and helped me. Only one. And she's not there anymore, right?
Oh.
Right. And so I was kind of implying you're not doing anything. And she's like, oh, well. And I'm like, well, it takes one person to go out of their way and find a solution. Crickets, dead silence.
Really?
So fascinating.
That is fascinating.
As Stacy posted about teamwork,
connection, working together.
And it's fascinating to me how no one cared. Like I would go, if I was in their position, I would go out of my way, because that's my job, to help people, right?
Yeah.
To help people figure out the situation. And she was the opposite. Shocking to me. So it was a terrible day. And it was totally depressing. I couldn't function. I had to take my kid to the walk-in for his ankle, and I had to do all this other work and still look after things. But so I alluded to on Instagram what I do when I have a really bad day. And, most people would say meditation. That's what I love. Yes. And, my meditation is music. Yeah. Right? And so what I have sorely lacked in the last couple of months in this lockdown is concerts.
Well, really in the past year, because last summer.
And there's none this year
either. So,
and to me, meditation is any form that keeps you focused and calm. So for me, going to a concert is meditation. And I love going with Stacy because she understands that. And I took one person to a concert once, and all they did was talk. And I was like, you can't talk.
Why are you talking? What do you talk about?
I listened. Except, is my meditation.
You know the song? That's your only conversation. Do you know the song? No. Great.
Exactly.
That's the end of the conversation.
So I have no concerts. And so what I did was, and maybe this works for people, that's why I want to tell them, I put on the streaming, and I put on music shows, right? So I put on, Dave Grohl came out with a new documentary. I think it's called something about In the Van or something.
Yeah.
Great. And then after that, I watched the Stevie Nicks documentary, which was awesome because
I haven't watched that yet. I have to watch that.
So it was all music, and it calms me down, and it puts me in a state of, for me, meditation. So for those of you who have bad days, you have to find your thing, and everyone's got a thing, right? That what they do. Shay's with us on Friday in the community, and Shay's doing a piece on meditation and laughter yoga. And laughter yoga is a form of meditation, right?
And I went through one session with her laughter yoga many years ago, and it was, I just remember thinking, wow. And that to me opened up my eyes. And you're right that people think meditation is sitting and focusing on breathing, and that's it. Right. But that's not true. People go walking meditations. You talked about that. People use running exercise as meditation.
And if I had sat there yesterday and did, and I teach meditation, so I'm well versed. But if I had sat there and did chanting or silence, it would have not made me feel good, because the everything that would have been flooding into my head was everything that made me have a bad day. But when I'm listening to music and I'm focusing on the music, it makes makes me feel better. So what do you do when you have a bad day, Stacy?
You're right. I think there's a line there between distraction and meditation. So a lot of times I'll try to go with a distraction, which is different than what you're talking about, because I believe that when you focus on one thing, so sometimes I'll just watch TV to try to distract. But if it's too much, I'll just put on my headphones. I don't think I could watch a show. I don't think I could go down that road. I would need really, like, that's what I used to do when I was like a teenager, is I would just like put on my headphones on my Walkman, like cassette tape, my sports Walkman. And I would just blare music, because I just felt like that was a release.
There's something about music that's incredibly powerful. I always, when I watched Dave Grohl's thing yesterday, it was really interesting because, they talked about how hard the journeys were in the vans and all this stuff. And every one of them, no matter if they were famous or not, they were like, would you do it again? Oh yeah. Why would I, that was the best ever. Why would I do anything else? Because I did what I loved all day. And that's kind of cool, right? So there's something about music that makes you feel, better. Anyway.
Absolutely. And it was actually really funny because I was driving around, had to do an errand with my son who's learning how to drive. So I let him drive, and the song came on the radio, and I started singing the song, because there's apparently a part of your brain that retains music lyrics.
Yes.
Whatever part of that brain is, mine is on fire. So I start singing the song, and he goes, how do you know all the words to every single song that comes on the radio?
Yeah.
Now, granted, they're from like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
I don't know the words, obviously, to today's, but somehow they're in whatever part of that brain is.
I think that is a massive piece. Maybe we should do a workshop on music and meditation.
There you go. But it's a huge influence, not only on your development, but also, I don't know what it is, but I think somehow it also sort of sometimes defines sort of that era. So when you hear a song, it immediately takes you to a memory,
right?
To that, you get the feeling, you get everything around. Yeah, it's amazing.
It makes you feel better, right? And who can't feel better listening to Stevie Nicks? Everyone wants to run around and wear that black dress and material.
Well, I've moved from, like, again, sort of music like that I would love to listen to. I think back when I was, in my early 20s, the musical choices that I would choose when I was upset was a little different. But same concept. I know people who go for walks, but same thing, right? I mean, especially with all our mobile devices now, it's so easy. Throw on your headphones and go for a walk and listen to music.
Yeah, and there's a difference between, like you said, you can't necessarily focus on a show. It's true. If you're upset or there's something bothering you and you put on a show, you can't follow it, right?
No.
Your brain, but you can follow a song.
Absolutely. And it does. Because it's different. Like, and I think it was funny. Who was that? I can't remember who posted it. It was a couple of days ago, and it said, are you the type of person when you're listening to a song and you've missed a little bit of it because your brain started to go in a different direction? Are you the type of person who will rewind that song because you didn't appreciate it enough?
Right.
I'm like,
I've done that too. I've done that too. Because you're like, oh no, that was the best part, and I wasn't paying attention.
Exactly. I wasn't appreciating it enough, and I need to go back. Yeah. So I think when you really do love music, that's a true meditation, because you're realizing if your mind starts to drift, nope.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Nope. Go back.
Yeah. When I'm in a concert, I'm in the concert. I mean, I'm appreciative. I can go to any concert I love. Like, I've gone to some that I would never, ever listen to that music. Yeah. But I love being immersed in the experience, right? And that's kind of the reason. One of the things we're trying to do in our community is immerse people in experiences and happenings, right? And having them have that feeling where they're, doing something, they're part of something, because we've been so siloed in the last little while, especially still here. We're in Toronto, and that's kind of, we still don't know when we're coming out of it.
No, we'll get there. We'll get there.
So bad day. I'm okay today. Listen to my concerts. Still have a lot to deal with. If any of you want to help me, any tricks that I can, or you happen to be an MP that's watching the show, feel free to reach out and say, Faye, I want to help you because I will gladly take the help. So what's on your mind today, Stace?
Well, I did not. I feel bad. I did not have a bad day. I actually had
you had a good day. I know. That's why I kept quiet and didn't talk to you.
I know, but I was like, I get really excited when I figure things out and when things work and I have an idea and I'm like, oh, I think I can make that work. And then it works. And I get ridiculously excited. Like that, when people say what makes you happy, like what brings you joy in your business, that brings me an immense amount of joy. It's like, I did it.
Well, you did, because you texted me with 3 exclamation marks and it was right in my bad journey. And I tried really hard to say, I think I just said sweet or cool.
Yeah,
or
good job.
Yeah, I couldn't focus on you. I could tell how excited you were.
I get very excited, but that's a side note. So interesting thing happened on my way through yesterday was, so the whole concept of booking an appointment online with a person. So like a coach, or you wanted to just book time with somebody. Maybe it's a discovery session. Maybe it's just an information session, whatever that case may be. A lot of people have sort of that free appointment on their calendar so again, it saves back and forth in regards to timing. Here's a link to my calendar, book whatever time works for you. You're good. Well, so funny thing happened. So I was emailing back and forth with somebody yesterday and we got to the point where it just didn't make sense to continue the email train. It made sense to jump on a call because it was going down the road and was like, you know what, let's jump on a call. It would be a lot easier to talk one-on-one. Yeah. So she goes, okay, here's a link to my calendar. Well, there was only one appointment in the month of May in the calendar and it didn't work for me. So I couldn't book that. So I sent her an email and I'm like, small problem. There's only one appointment in your calendar for May. I can't make that one. Is there any? So interesting conversation stemmed from that. I'm just really going to look at the email train that we were going back and forth because I was like, so why? Why is there only one appointment for the month of May? And she basically said because she was getting inundated with quote unquote unwelcomed intruders booking appointments in her calendar because her calendar link is on her website. And so it's public. So I'm like, really? Like that? Honestly, it's not been my experience.
Never.
I have not had somebody just book an appointment with me. So anyway, so I sent her my calendar, which I'll tell you about that experience in a minute. So I said, well, what is this unwelcomed guest, right? Yeah. So actually she wrote me back and said, someone took that spot. So that one spot she opened in May, somebody booked her spot and they wrote in the notes that they wanted to sell her a $28,000 program on how to do a 5-day challenge.
You're kidding.
No. I can't make this
up. That's kind of ballsy.
Right? Like,
wow.
I didn't even know how I
didn't know people were doing that. Like, that's crazy.
I did not. That funny because that's exactly what I wrote. That's crazy. That's what I wrote her back.
Wow.
So I think number one, that's extremely bold. I give him or her, whoever booked the appointment, I give them credit for saying what they wanted to do in the appointment.
Great, because then you can go click do not accept.
Delete. Exactly. So there's that. So there's a pros and cons there. So then I started to think about, so I sent her my link. And then a funny thing happened. I didn't go in personally. So I know we talked about automations on Master Up Monday this week. Yeah. So if you missed that, go grab the replay because it was kind of a similar conversation. And I realized that I had to go back to my own calendar.
Yeah. I didn't want to look at mine.
However, so today, you had a bad day yesterday. I don't have a bad day. I just have a busy day. So today I have multiple back-to-back meetings.
Really? And you didn't even know about it?
Which I didn't want. So as a scheduler or as like my organizational system, I don't like to have multiple, like I don't mind a few, but I don't like to have multiple back-to-backs.
Yeah,
I
it's
find it's
awful.
awful. I would rather spread them out. I
Yeah.
try to put a lot of blocks in between on my calendar that people can book with, but somehow today they were able to book. So now I have multiple meetings and like, well, that's great. Great to have the meetings. So there's a lot of, I don't know. I don't know what to tell her for people who are booking, because of course then they're taking up that time slot for somebody else. But then I realize I now need to go back to my own calendar and do better blocks.
Right. Well, I think
better blocks, because I was doing bigger blocks of
right.
I'm available on Wednesdays from like 10 until 4. But that's actually not good, because what ends up happening is somebody could book, even though I have buffer times, they can still book back to back. So now I have to go in at some point today and do specific blocks as opposed to bigger blocks of time.
Yeah, I blocked most of my calendar because I, don't really accept outside calls, not too much. But when I was doing a lot of coaching, I would have days where I would coach 6 or 7 people in one day. And that was the entire day gone. And I was mentally and physically exhausted. Coaching takes a lot out of you. It's because if you're a good coach, because you're giving somebody your energy. So I stopped doing that. But I think for her, it's real simple. You can segment your calendar. Well, it depends on your system. You can segment your calendar. So we can, for example, on the system that we use, because we use On Point, we can segment it so that what we put on the on our website is a link only to a specific type of appointment. So if we say it's a general information appointment and we only allow 2 slots or even 1 slot a week, that's all they can see. So it depends on how, if you've put out a discovery call, coaches, if you put out a discovery call thing in your calendar and you're leaving it wide open, then of course people are going to book you up. So, it comes down to you being smart about what you put out there. I'm very, very cautious. My calendar doesn't show up really anywhere. If you do find it somehow, the slots are very, existing client base. There's no like new clients. It's existing client base. And then if you really want me, you can, text me or send me an email, and then I'll send you the real link. But
well, I think that's the challenge, right? Is that she wanted to have a link on her site for people who were legit that wanted to book that discovery call. And then, but she also needs to sort of, again, have this kind of secret link that actually has more availability for intruders. We call them unwelcome intruders or unwelcome sales calls. So you're right. Very ballsy of the salespeople to go in and book, because you can't do that through an automated system.
Right.
A robot or a bot can't do that. So you have to physically, there's too many steps.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think what I would do is for those of you, this is not a Master at Monday, but we'll talk a little bit, because what I would do is I would put a little funnel in there where it's like, give them a quiz to fill out, right? Give them some type of form to fill out before they get a link to your calendar. So yes, if you want to do discovery calls, sure, but fill out this form first. And then it gets either approved, which would take very little of our time. Then the calendar link goes out, because if on the link it said, I'm going to sell you a $28,000 program, then she wouldn't send him the link. Right?
Exactly.
So funnels are important. If you don't know about funnels, come into our community, because we talk about them all the time and it's free. So.
Absolutely. And I think from my learning was to double check, right? To make sure that your calendar, no matter what appointment type you have, because it does make it a lot easier, but whatever appointment type you have, make sure that your schedule is such that it works for you and not just, it's just easier. So I know somebody who booked like 9 to 5 every day. Yeah. Whatever people booked in, they would just fit things around it. And I'm like, no. Or different appointment types for different times. So now my task today, because I don't like having back-to-back stuff.
No.
I like to spread it out. So that's my job today. So that was it was a learning yesterday that I had forgotten. But it was interesting when she's like, well, here's mine. And I'm like, well, I can't do that. And then I'm like, well, here's mine. And then I saw she booked and I was like, why do I have that time available?
Yeah. So for those of you guys who are watching this, please don't try to find our calendars and book a lot of appointments.
Well, you can just give me a day. Just give me a day so I can make sure that
we're here. If you want to ask us a question, ask us a question. That's what this is all about, right? So come into the community. Come into the community. Ask us any question you want. And if you want to sell us something, then come in and say, hey, direct message us in our community where we feel safe and we know everyone is there looking for information. We'll gladly talk to you, but don't hijack people because just because they have a calendar link, there's a reason they have a calendar link, not to be sold something. It's usually to get together with people that want to work with you. So, and if you have a question, somebody else, just like it when you were in grade school, ask the question. I'm sure somebody else has the same question, but are afraid to ask. So if you ask the question, then actually you benefit everybody, which is kind of cool. Great. So today I'm going to have a better day and Stacy's going to have a busy day. Exactly. So I'm going to get to it. Have a good day. Bye, guys.